into our March quarter. I hope everyone's had a nice Easter, didn't eat too much chocolate. So Chris, with the Royal Commission, a lot is coming out in the media about banks charging fees for services that haven't been provided. How do you feel about that, and what have JFP done in the past to avoid that?
Well, it's something we jumped on about 8 years ago, actually, Karen. We implemented our fixed service fee offering, and that allowed clients to pay a fixed fee for a particular service, and that allowed us to act purely on an unbiased basis in regards to what our clients need and what they want to achieve. The big issue that's coming out in the Commission is really identifying banks' push for profit. In the financial review, it's highlighting here that the big names such as NAB, ANZ, IOOF, Macquarie, CBA, they've all been involved in pushing product for profit. And this highlights the fact of clients really needing to get a service offering and ongoing advice. Yeah. And if they're not getting that, that's where we feel it is an issue, and it's a good thing that the Commission is actually identifying this.
On another note, we've got the budget coming up in May. What to expect? We've had some noise in the media recently from the Labor government, and that's all it is. It's just noise, Chris.
True. There's always, approaching this time of year, coming up to budget, you're going to have, whether it be one party or the other, making promises. Until things are legislated, really there's no point getting too over concerned by anything like that. Over the years, we've seen issues of whether it be franking credits or whether it be gearing being abolished. Years ago, they said they were going to allow you to borrow off your superannuation to buy out your own home. We've just got to wait for legislation to take place before we start to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. And we'll provide a budget update once the budget's been brought down.
Absolutely.
So Chris, in the last few weeks we've seen a lot of market volatility. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, Karen. Look, with any investment that is got a large weighting towards shares, it's normal to see market volatility. Yeah. And that is typically why, with a share portfolio or portfolio that has a large amount of holdings in shares, that you should be looking at the medium to long term. So that's that 3, 5, 7 years and beyond in respect to riding out that volatility.
So what do you think specifically has caused this decline in the global shares?
Well, in recent months or weeks, in particular, the US has done exceptionally well in regards to growth. Yeah. There's also been wages growth. So that has passed on concerns about inflation. So, and that in itself has then put a depression on the share price, and we've seen that come back in that regard.
Okay. What about my portfolio? What does it mean for that?
Well, the importance of the portfolio is to ensure that you've got appropriate diversity in there that meets your investment profile. Many of our clients are aware that we focus on having appropriate spread or allocation or mix, whether it be in high growth or balanced, etc., diversity, to produce certain income streams, requirements, etc., as well as growth. And it's important that we have that right for each individual client, so that they can accept the volatility as well as sleep easy.
Okay. So should I be switching into cash?
Well, we do get that question from time to time, more so from investors that are fairly new to our approach. But if someone is thinking that they should be switching to cash, we'd highly recommend that they contact our office to discuss that, because one, we always want to make sure that we've got appropriate liquidity there to support income streams if required. If we're long-term investors and we don't need an income stream, maybe we have a high weighting to growth assets and less cash. But it's important that we look at individual circumstances if someone's considering moving to cash before doing that.
Right. It's not all doom and gloom with the market volatility. There are some good news stories out there.
Yes, from a global, well, more Australian perspective, we should be looking at some of the infrastructure points and builds that are going on at the moment. Those, many of us would have heard in respect to the rail system being set up to go to the Melbourne airport.
Which is fantastic, and we'll embrace it.
Absolutely, once it's up and running. We've been banging on about that for
many years.
30 years.
Yeah, so
but $15 billion, that's the spend, and that is going to be significant. So that will certainly add to the economy. And we also know what's going on with Sydney.
Yeah, we've still got tunnels and roadways being built there, so it's still very growth orientated.
Absolutely.
Which is great for our portfolios. On a practice point of view, we've got a lot of clients that have happily telling us that they're travelling abroad in coming months to avoid the winter. We hope that you travel safe. Don't forget us back here at the office. If you've got some great pics to send through, certainly send them through when you get back.
Leaving us here in the cold, but we'll soldier on.
Yeah, no, we definitely will.
Take care, travel safe for those that are travelling.
Yeah.
We've got Teletubbies coming up on the screen before.
Really?
Yeah, I think they did.
My